to the walls. There's nothing in this world that's ours. Dark ocean with a tiny flame.
For most of those in the trucking industry, it's that love of the open road, the allure of going to places they've never been before that draws them in. Yet, despite all the great things that trucking has to offer, there's a driver shortage, or so they say. Is that really true? The truckers have been warning us about an impending crisis for years now.
On two major issues. One is lack of training for new drivers. They want the drivers involved in training new recruits to have at least 5 years or more experience and a good training record, which they say will help prevent accidents on the roadways. Another issue they're calling attention to is hours of service. The truckers say they need more flexibility. They say that it will stop drivers from making bad decisions like driving during a snowstorm or driving when they are tired in order to keep up with a timer.
Throughout all of 2019 and into 2020, truckers held slow roll convoy protest from coast to coast. The protest covered a wide variety of issues, but most of them seemed to be centered on state and federal regulations that were hurting the industry and encroaching on individual rights. And all the groups seemed to take issue with the electronic logging mandate and the inflexible hours of service, as well as regulations that seemed to favor the big corporations.
You want change in the industry? You tell us we can't. We say we will. Here's your proof right here. We're 3 wide, right here on the river.
But with rates at an all-time low by May of 2020, they were turning up the pressure.
Rates going down. Rates going down. I repeat, rates going down. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
Join us, Operation Mayday.
I want to say that enough is enough. I want to say that we need to stop hauling cheap freight. And I want to say that we all got to come together.
First generation supports the no cheap freight movement. Because if you guys fall, we fall. We're in it together, brother. All the way. Let's get it.
Mayday. Do you know a los precios?
Mayday, Friday. Let's ride out. Let's show them who in charge.
Division is weakness and unity is strength. Today, our slow roll is a peaceful demonstration that will bring the truckers across the industry together. No matter what you haul, today we are simply truckers.
The demonstrations were noisy, but peaceful from a legal standpoint. For 21 days, truckers from around the country parked together on Constitution Avenue, yielding some results, with the FMCSA announcing the addition of a driver's advisory panel and the DOJ investigation into freight brokering practices. But not long after that, the fury of the presidential race took center stage, and a new round of battles were to begin.
You are more than likely feeling it every single time you fuel up. Now, imagine your price tag isn't increasing by tens, but rather by hundreds of dollars.
When you run your own business.
That's money out of your pocket.
Money out of my pocket.
Like Nishaltz and Madeus.
This will cost me about $800.
But out-of-control diesel prices wasn't the only issue plaguing the industry. While the government and the media echoed about a driver shortage causing supply chain issues, what drivers were seeing on the ground out in the field, well, that was a different story entirely. On a windy day in Freeport, Texas, trucks are lined up for hours to get into the port. Because of delays in unloading the ship, some of these trucks have actually been sitting here since Friday. Today's Tuesday. All right, I'm sorry, what was your name?
My name is Charlie.
All right, Charlie. So I've been talking to Charlie here. Charlie does a lot of business in the port. And you were here yesterday, is that correct?
That's correct. I was over here yesterday. I came around noon, got in line just like I'm over here today, and they shut the gate at 3, sent everybody home. Unless you wanted to stick around and wait, and your other option was to come back the following morning.
And then what time did you get here this morning?
This morning I would say about like around 7:15, 7:20 in the morning. And
so you've been sitting here for about 3 hours still?
I would say, depending what time it is right now, yeah, give or take about 3 hours.
Yeah, so about 3 hours. So yeah, second day of waiting.
Yes, sir.
Charlie's still in line, but once again they've shut down entry to the port for the day because of too many trucks. Better luck tomorrow.
So listen, all this talk of truck driver shortage. There isn't a truck driver shortage. Problem is the shippers and the receivers wasting our damn time tying our trucks up for 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, sitting at their facility. They're using our trucks as real estate. There isn't a truck driver shortage. The problem is in the shippers and the receivers, the big corporations, the same problem we've always had in America. It's not the trucks, and it's not the drivers.
Unfortunately, there were still more issues at play. The lockdown policies of the pandemic era were coming back to haunt the trucking industry. My truck has been down for 5 days now. They're just now doing the diagnostic, and depending upon what parts may need to be ordered, I'm looking at up to 2 weeks or possibly even more. All across the country, truck repair centers like the one you see here started experiencing longer than normal wait times for repairs. Each of these trucks you see here are trucks waiting to get into a bay for repair. The parts shortage goes hand in hand with the labor shortage, and it's having a ripple effect, like these pumps blocked off. Why are all the pumps over here on this side?
We have technical problems. We're waiting for a part.
Oh, just waiting for parts? Okay, thanks. But one professor was hot on the trail of the root causes of the supply chain disruptions, and you probably haven't even heard of it. His name is David Cornell, and he works at MIT's Freight Lab. Good luck finding him on Google. It's almost like he doesn't exist. But if you dig deep, you'll find that he testified before Congress in 2019 after doing a comprehensive study of the supply chain, including the impact of hours of service regulation. At that time, he argued all that was needed was 12 additional driving minutes per day to solve the problem, and he urged Congress to look into shipper and receiver efficiency as well as regulatory changes. In the spring of 2022, the U.S. government announced a shortage of 80,000 commercial drivers. In response to that statement, Cornell went public once again, claiming that, according to his math, 18 minutes would solve the need for 80,000 additional drivers. Of course, if you're a corrupt politician, there's no money in a simple solution. So they'll keep beating the drum of the driver shortage while the campaign contributions roll in.